During one of the wettest, coldest summers in London's history, two children named Diggory and Polly found themselves stuck indoors looking for an adventure. They navigated a narrow, unfloored tunnel connecting the rafters of their joined row houses, hoping to reach an abandoned property. Instead, their careful climbing dropped them into the wrong house entirely. They had landed in the forbidden study of Diggory's Uncle Andrew. He was an alarming figure to encounter in a locked room. Exceptionally tall and thin, clean-shaven with a sharply pointed nose and a wild, tousled mop of gray hair. A simple moment of childhood curiosity had accidentally trapped the two kids. They were completely at the mercy of a dangerous, vain adult who'd been dabbling in ancient magic he didn't quite understand. Uncle Andrew immediately isolated the children, tricking Polly into touching a humming, brightly colored yellow ring. The moment her skin made contact, she vanished into thin air. Here's exactly how Uncle Andrew's experiment worked. The yellow rings act as dimensional magnets, made of a material that desperately wants to return to its origin. They pull the wearer out of their current reality, drawing them inward toward a central in-between nexus. The green rings do the exact opposite, acting as exit vectors. They push the wearer out of that central nexus, injecting them into an entirely new targeted world. Because Polly only had a yellow ring, she had no way to return. Uncle Andrew blackmailed Diggory, forcing him to take his own yellow ring and two green rings to mount a rescue mission. Recognizing he had no other choice, Diggory grabbed the ring and disappeared from the study. He was now thrust into a high-stakes extra-dimensional rescue mission, carrying the only tickets home with absolutely no idea where the magic would actually take him. Diggory arrived in the wood between the worlds, a quiet, rich, leafy forest filled with dozens of shallow pools of water, where he successfully reunited with his friend Polly. To test the magic, they triggered their green rings by jumping into an unfamiliar pool. They emerged into a dead, ruined city, bathed in the dull light of an ancient, dying red sun. Wandering the ruins, they found a room filled with hundreds of frozen wax-like figures of royalty. Drawn by an overwhelming impulse, Diggory struck a small golden bell with a hammer, shattering the silence and awakening the very last figure in the line. This was Queen Jadis. She was terrifyingly tall, possessing a fierce beauty, and dressed in heavy, magnificent robes of crimson, deep purple, and vivid green. Jadis revealed that her world, Charn, was dead because she killed every living thing in it by speaking the deplorable word to win a civil war against her sister. Now awake, she fully intended to travel back to the children's world to conquer it. By giving in to a moment of impulsive curiosity, Diggory had inadvertently resurrected an apocalyptic threat, and that threat was now setting its sights directly on Earth. The children desperately triggered their rings, but Jadis grabbed Polly's hair and then Diggory's ear. By maintaining physical contact, she hijacked their magical transit, forcing her way through the dimensions and hitched a ride back to London. The moment she arrived in Uncle Andrew's study, the violence began. She physically assaulted Aunt Letty and tossed Uncle Andrew around like a rag doll. Look at this photo of Victorian London. Jadis spilled out into these crowded, fragile streets and unleashed absolute chaos. She robbed a jewelry store, brawled with the owner, and demolished a police hansom cab. Diggory realized the police couldn't stop her. His only tactical option was to slip on his yellow ring, run into the fray, and physically grab Jadis to teleport her out of the city. He made his move and grabbed her ankle. But in the frantic scuffle, Uncle Andrew grabbed the cabbie. The cabbie grabbed his horse, Strawberry, and the horse was touching Jadis. When the ring activated, Diggory's attempt to fix his initial mistake compounded the disaster. He ripped Jadis out of London, but dragged a terrified group of innocent bystanders into the magical crossfire with them. The tangled group didn't land in the wood between the worlds. Instead, they plummeted into an empty, pitch-black void of absolute nothing. No stars, no wind, just cold, dry darkness. Then a profound singing voice began to echo in the dark. As the melody swelled, the black void suddenly illuminated with brilliant pink and gold light, and a vibrant, seemingly joyful young sun rose over a vast, rushing river valley. This newly sung soil possessed a unique, hyperactive magic. Anything planted in the dirt grew instantly into a mature, full-sized form. The group watched this happen in real time. The iron crossbar Jadis had wrecked from the London street lamp fell into the earth and rapidly sprouted like a sapling into a 3-foot-tall, fully lit iron lamp post. Diggory had witnessed the dying, destructive magic that ended Charn. Now, he was standing in the explosive creative epicenter of a brand new universe. They had just witnessed the birth of Narnia. The creation immediately yielded some surreal comedy. Newly formed talking animals, including a bulldog and an elephant, surrounded the terrified Uncle Andrew, trying to deduce if the man in the black coat was a vegetable, a mineral, or some strange kind of tree. To right his wrongs, Diggory completed a quest in Narnia and was allowed to bring a single magical silver apple back to London. He planted the core in his backyard, where it grew into a fine, healthy tree. Decades passed. Diggory grew into a middle-aged professor. When a massive storm blew that backyard tree down, he refused to chop the Narnian wood into firewood. He salvaged the timber. He took that salvaged wood and had it constructed into a massive, intricately carved piece of furniture, placing it in the spare room of his large country house. Diggory's childhood trespassing triggered the creation of an entire universe, while the resulting tree provided the very timber for the wardrobe that would one day lead future generations back to Narnia.